I must protect Shy Yeti.
I love mouses.
How are you? Hope you're fine. This is the Shy Yeti show.
Okay, away you go.
Why have I got worms? Oh no.
Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast.
Oh, there's gonna be some drama ahead.
All I wanted was a pie.
And then I hatched out of an egg. Okay, bring the mic over.
He's ready to record.
Is it metaphorical? Is it deep?
Your show is getting so international.
But that's right. He's had all that shy is right.
Such a woman.
Blimey, Governor. It's the Shy Life podcast.
Hello, Julie.
Having done it. Excellent.
752. Bonjour et bienvenue au podcast The Shy Life.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Shy Life podcast with me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How are you doing? I'm all right. I'm feeling musical today. What about you? Yeah. I've got a guest here. It's Adam from Foul Monkeys. He's back. He came back again. Hi, Adam.
I'm back.
Yay. We're going to talk about our favourite. We've got a bit of a structure this time because previously we just kind of jumped right in, but we haven't had a chance to discuss any of our likes this year because last time we were talking about last year. So we're going to kind of give you 24 for 24 each, if that makes sense.
Yes.
With a few, honourable mentions. But let's run the theme music. When we come back, we'll get started.
Darling, it's the Shy Life podcast.
My favorite person is here.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Yes, but it's a positive thing, Paul. The highlight, the Shy Life.
I'll go anyway, but potato.
Delicious.
Hello, campers. How are you?
Oh, Yeti.
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh, have you ever found out my secret? Yeti has.
I love the Yeti. Yes, it's my favorite thing.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Yeah, I'm strangely drawn to Yeti Uncle John's ankles as well.
I could eat my body weight in crisps.
Has anyone seen my hot sausage?
It's all gooey and meaty and yum, 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 yum.
It was enormous.
I don't think I'm ready to speak about it.
Here comes the grizzly.
It's the Shy Life podcast.
I can't wait for it to begin.
I'm just being an alien.
I like that.
Hi there.
Marvelous, Paul. Oh, this is like no nothing.
Hi listeners, before we start the show, I'd just like to say that this episode is dedicated to my friend Anthony Allen, who I shared a lot of love for pop music, and particularly the song You Love Who You Love by Zara Larsson, which I mention is one of the last songs that he really enthused about and sent to me before his sad passing at the age of 54 in late November 2024. Yeah. There's lots of my choices in this episode I think he'd either like or would understand why I liked, and we knew each other for about 20 years, and we dated for about one of those years, but we stayed friends, and we always sent each other links to songs we liked, and that Zara Larsson song, yeah, he was really enthusiastic about that, and he was like really pleased when I wrote back immediately and said, I love it too. Anyway, I won't say any more. Let's just get started. And yeah, this episode is dedicated to Anthony. So, Adam,
Yes.
Overall, good year, bad year, mixed year? Or should we be saying that at the end? I don't know. I just thought we'd try to find a way to start before we launch into the music. But
But personally, it's been a little bit of a weird year for me. New jobs, all sorts of change, but overall pretty good, I would say.
And a good musical year, or will we discuss that as we go along? Do you think?
I think I can make kind of a blanket statement up front. I liked a lot more new music than I expected to, so I think a pretty good year.
Cool. Yeah, I'd agree. I was thinking, before we get into 2024, I just want to cover a few songs or artists that I've just happened to sort of delve back into for no apparent reason. And I'm not going to even sort of necessarily hang around very long with them, but I'll tell you mine, and then if you've got some. And also, I was quite careful not to pick anything that was definitely from very, very late 2023. I tried to make sure it would definitely come out in 2024. So there's one band there that I thought was this year, and I think they were having success this year, but all of those songs, I think, came out, or the album had come out. That's that trouble where an album comes out late in the year. Yeah. So is it 2024? Is it 2023? But okay, so one of mine was Nick Hayward, a song called "On a Sunday." He was the lead singer of Haircut 100, who kind of They had some new stuff this year, but there's a few Nick Hayward songs that some of his solo stuff, Kite and Rollerblade from the 90s, that didn't necessarily do that well at the time, but they're still favourites 30 years after they were released. Another one would be World Party, because Carl Wallinger passed, so I listened to stuff like Message in a Box and things like that I liked back in the day. A singer called Sandra. Is she from Germany? I can't remember. I think my friend Matthias told me a bit about her. Kim Wilde, but for various reasons. A band called Cannons. I started exploring some of their songs, and I can't remember what triggered that off. I mean, if it's YouTube, it can be almost anything.
This is true.
Yeah. A song called Long Long Time by Linda Ronstadt, which I heard.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think I heard that on a zombie program. Yes. As you do. A song by Sam Brown called Mindworks, which is always a favourite from the 90s. A little bit of Garbage, more recent, sort of noughties Garbage. Susan Fassbender, who is she was part of a duo, but the band was named after her. She did 4 really good singles, and only one of them was successful. And then sadly, she committed suicide when she was about 32.
Oh my God.
And I can't remember what drew me in, but I ended up buying all of the singles that existed, and then considering that these came out in the very late 70s, early 80s, I managed to find them on eBay and just get them, because there was never an album, they were just the singles. So that's one of the few vinyl purchases I made. And then the last sort of contemporary band, but just doesn't quite go in this year, was the Last Dinner Party. I really enjoyed. They were having success a lot this year, but they just don't really count as 2024. What about you? What about older stuff for you this year?
I get to play music in the stores where I work. So I don't play a lot of 2024 stuff. I do, but some of it is, I guess, not fit for public consumption, so to speak. But I inexplicably, my most played song from Spotify, it's a very old Elton John song called Take Me to the Pilot.
I don't know if I know it, but I must check it out.
I believe it might have been the B-side to your song.
Oh gosh, so very early.
Yeah. I played that a lot. I played Guilty by Barbra Streisand and Barry Gibb quite a bit. And probably my third that I've played for years, but I just absolutely love, and I played it a lot in 2024. Miss Chatelaine by Katie Lang.
Katie Lang, yeah.
There's a remix that makes it a little, I don't know, it's kind of like a little more exotic. It's not a dance remix, so to speak, but it's called the Saint-Tropez mix. So yeah.
If I use Spotify more than I do, then I would have used that to help me with my choices. I have a Prime list. They do something. I mean, they all copy them each other, but I still didn't think when I saw it that it really represented and obviously it's going to be mixed up with other things. So I've made my list from, although we are mainly going to focus on the top 10, but we're going to sort of scamper down the sort of 11 to 24, well, 24 to 11. We wanted to do 24 for 24, didn't we? So that was I think you should start as you're the guest. We've kind of had a difference because I tried to not have more than one song by a person unless they were like the guest on somebody else's. But I think that helps my cause though, because I can still mention that I like those. I'm struggling with the with this first bit because going backwards anyway. But what's your 24 to 21 or whatever?
I don't have numbers on mine, so I'll have to. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 10, I guess, to start. I had trouble ranking. I definitely have like a top 5, top 10.
Yeah.
But these are kind of less in order, but still. And some of them are the same artist. You're going to see the same artist twice in this bottom. 24 would be a song called I can't speak. Satisfaction by Edel, Edel. Then 23 would be Heartbreaker by Purple Disco Machine featuring Chromeo. That album was great this year.
Yeah, I know them for other songs, but I don't know whether I've heard that yet. But
yeah, I recommend that album. Then 24, 23, 22 would be Kylie with Taboo, one of the album tracks from Tension 2.
Yeah.
And then next would be 360 featuring Robin and Young Lean from Charlie XCX, the Brat repackage. Then this one, my friend Nate told me about, and it's called Pose Depressed. And specifically the Left Cheerleader remix. That's by Thought Squad, THOT, featuring Sophie Hunter. And then, let's see, that was 6. Then next would be another Purple Disco Machine track, Honey Boy featuring Nile Rodgers and Shensia. And then another person who will be making multiple appearances, Gavin Turek, had an amazing disco album this year. Her track Back on the Market. That's 8. And then Tears by Perry from Little Mix. I like all the Perry singles, but that's my favorite. And then finally, I would do Cinderella by Remy Wolf, which is an excellent album as well. I think that gets me to my first 10.
Sure, a lot I didn't know there, which is good. I'll try and do 10. My brain's thinking back. I had terrible trouble actually. I will say, when we were arranging the time to record this, I suddenly existed in both time zones. because I knew that my friend Harry was coming for lunch and was going to leave at 4. And then I was thinking 4, so I can't do it till after 4. So then it has to be 6 hours from 4. So it's so that makes it 10 o'clock. And then I was like, no, I don't exist. The 6 hours helps me. I could still do it at 2 o'clock if that's better for. I just somehow suddenly existed in two places. My brain was like, "Where are you, Chicago?" So let's see. Probably my 24 would be a song called "Regrets" by Nina Palo. I think I don't know if the new album's come out yet, but I like her stuff.
Yeah.
She's written for Kylie and stuff, isn't she?
Yeah.
Possibly 23 would be be more definite. 23 would be "Oh Hi" by Crowded House. Again, I don't know if they've had an album. Maybe they have had an album. 22 would probably be "Kiss of Life" by Shazney Lewis.
Very good.
I like a lot of the singles off that. 21 would probably be "Strawberry Dream" by Dagny.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. I'm a little bit, because some of these are my duplicates or second songs. So I'm going to move into my proper 20. Probably, definitely. 20 would be "Cliffhanger" Holiday Sidewinder featuring Kim Wilde.
Yes.
Which I think you tipped me off for. I think it just scrape into 2024. Number 19 would be "Gaslight" by Travis. Number 18, I kind of wanted this to be higher, but it's just slipped out. I did try and listen to some of these again to sort of, if I was unsure. It's a bit of a mouthful. "Don't Let My Boyfriend Get in Your Way" by Alice Chater.
Okay.
I do love it, but it's just slipped down. 17, and again, I kind of would like to put this higher, but "Edge of Saturday Night," Blessed Madonna and Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
Number 16, "Supernova" by Bananarama. I think that was from did they do another greatest hits package or like a 40th anniversary?
I think they did, yeah.
Something like that. Maybe more than 40, 45. I don't know. I think this would be 15. "Miracle" by Shazney Lewis. Trying to choose between "Miracle" and "Kiss of Life" was difficult.
Yeah.
I'm not even like a super fan of All Saints, but I have always sort of bought there. And it was just nice hearing her voice on some decent songs, and I would have liked to have gone higher with that. My 14 is "Oh My God" or "OMG" by Suki Waterfield, who I liked another song of hers as well, "Super Sad." And originally they would have, at least one of those was going to be in the top 10, but number 13, "Freedom of the Night" by Sophie Ellis-Bextor, which again could easily have gone in the top 10. I think there's always that danger where, and I'm not even sure that some of the songs in my top 10 aren't guilty of this, where the video really pushes it. It really takes it to a chef's kiss sort of. And "Freedom of the Night," the video is great and the song's great, but it's I don't know. It just slipped out. Number 12, I've chosen "Disease" by Lady Gaga, which it didn't do anything particularly new, but it was at least it wasn't a dreadful ballad or something. I mean, not she's known for dreadful ballads, but no, I liked it, but yeah, I mean, you can only choose 10 songs.
Yeah.
And then, although I think she might be a bit controversial at the moment, why do singers have to open their mouths and talk about things that aren't? But I've chosen "Or Shoot" by CMAT, which I think is actually the only song that is new for this year. I was only really told about her this year, but all the songs came from last year. So so that brings me up to number 11. If you want to reach the same point, and then we'll talk a little bit more about each of the top 10 ones.
Okay, so there's 3 more before my top 10. It looks like, because I would have left off on 14. So 13, this could have been higher. I played it a lot in the beginning of the year, but it kind of dropped off a little bit for me. "Stay With Me Through the Night" by Fabiana Palladino. I loved it. Then next, number 12, "Freedom of the Night," Sophie Ellis-Bextor.
I always agree on that one.
Yeah. And then 11, "Strawberry Dream" by Dagny.
Yeah. So I would have put that higher, but I have another Dagny song coming up. So yeah, well, this episode is going to take me ages to edit because I'll be listening to stuff all of Adam's that I don't know. But that's the whole point, listeners. We can't be putting clips on there. We get thrown out of the podcasting club, and YouTube will be very cross with this. So you have to do the hard work. We're telling you what we like, and you get your fingers typing and have a listen. But
I have to write down. There's a lot of crossover between us. But there's stuff that I haven't listened to or that I need to revisit from your list.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like a lot of getting back into sort of modern music a few years ago was you sending me things, but and that sort of kicked me back into sort of having current favorites more. But YouTube has been a big help because some of these people I don't know how I found out about them because it wasn't all Adam anymore. We're evolving. Something's changing. So we'll take turns going down the top 10. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is an artist that you'll have another song from on my list. It's Taste by Sabrina Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't expect to love. It feels kind of like very young adult, 20-something sort of music. But again, it's a video that really hits the spot. But I like it. Without the video, it would be up there for me. She's always got really clever lyrics. But the video stars her and, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on her name? The star of Wednesday, Jenna. Oh my gosh.
She's not the one who Ortega or something. She's not the one that. Is that right?
Yeah, Jenna Ortega. Yes.
Yeah. Wasn't she in one of the Scream films?
Yes, she was in two of them, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, the recent two.
Yeah. But it's an excellent video. If you haven't seen it, it's very funny. It kind of references Death Becomes Her a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's my number 10. Sabrina Carpenter. It might be my favorite album of the year, actually. So, yeah. Sabrina Carpenter, number 10.
We had more time. If I had actually listened to many albums from end to end, we could have talked more about albums. But you can tell us at the end some of your favorite albums, because I have been very much playlisty, like one or two tracks, even though there were some of these from albums that I could have got. I don't know where the time goes. But Sabrina Carpenter's somebody that I've heard a lot about but haven't really got into yet, so she'll be something for 2025. But it's a bit like Olivia Rodriguez for me. I kind of discovered her an album and a half or two albums in.
Yeah, me too.
And I think she had one song and maybe a reissue or an extended release that came out this year, but I didn't. It was fine, but I didn't put it in my list. But
yeah,
and all the songs I do like are really 2023. So okay, well, my number 10. It was very much where does it go in? But it's such a good vocal performance by the singer, and she's somebody who's been around a long time. And well, the song is "Trail of Destruction" by Kim Wilde.
Okay.
Which I think the writing team is the same as like her 80s hits or late 80s hits.
Okay.
And yeah, it's difficult to sort of, is it a guilty pleasure or is it a pleasure? And and I decided that it's such a power ballad, and I'm not so sure about the lyrics, but just the whole performance. And I don't know, I can't remember if there was. I'm sure there was a video, but I don't know. It just, when I was listening back through them, I was like, oh yeah, it does. It's just it's classic Kim. It's got yeah. I had to let it into the top 10, but.
I haven't listened to the new Kim Wilde album very much, so I'm gonna have to get in there.
I don't think when I listened to this that there was, and I think actually going through some of these, I was like, oh, I didn't know well, for instance, going back to the older stuff, the Susan Fassbender stuff, I can't remember what triggered me into that, but the other person involved with Susan Fassbender had died in about October this year. But that was after I,
right.
So I was kind of, things move on so quickly, and that she was still alive. I was reading she was still alive when I was like buying those vinyls at the beginning of the year. But some of the songs there weren't albums for, and suddenly there's a whole album now. I haven't even had a chance to look at it. Okay, number 9.
Number 9 is going to be "Angel of My Dreams" by Jade from Little Mix again.
Yeah.
That just, it's such a weird song. I think all of her singles have been a little off center, in a way that reminds me of a lot of Girls Aloud stuff, like a lot of Xenomania stuff.
Yeah.
It's like kind of different tempos, like are there 2 choruses? Like where does it end? Where does it begin? And there's sort of a vibe on a lot of the Jade stuff, but "Angel of My Dreams," I found it getting stuck in my head a lot.
Yeah,
it's
she's
got a great voice.
Yeah, and there's sort of a mix of genres. Like she'll just throw a little bit of a rap in, and then it'll go back to a chorus, or then it'll,
right.
I don't really know much about Little Mix as much as I should do, because they were sort of the next generation on from the Saturdays, and they were sort of having their hits when I was in my sort of wilderness years. So I haven't listened to as much Little Mix. So, but on the other hand, the songs like this one, I just came to it as a song. I didn't have any preconception or any sort of liking of Jade particularly, or know anything about her. But then liked the songs that I heard, and so that's good, because you don't want all your fans to be just people who used to love Little Mix. And if you can get some new, you can get some new, even if very old listeners, then that's good.
Yeah. You'd like Little Mix, I think. You should
check it out. Yeah. I think I've even got stuff downloaded. It's just
So what's your number 9?
My number 9 is "Loneliness" by Pet Shop Boys. It was probably the only single from the new album that really, and it was the one that came out before the album. I hadn't quite connected so much with some of the other singles, but "Loneliness" sounds very much like sort of classic 80s Pet Shop Boys, sort of left to my own devices sort of era, or sort of very early 90s Pet Shop Boys. And I kind of, I really like "Loneliness," and I still like it this end of the year. I mean, maybe we'll talk towards the end about some of the albums. As I say, I haven't really connected with any albums this year, but I've been aware of them, maybe listened to bits and pieces. So, but yeah, Loneliness. I think it's one of the best singles they've done. For quite some time.
Funny you should mention that. I had a lot of trouble trying to. I wanted to put Loneliness on mine, and I bumped it for a third Charlie XCX song, which is silly. So if in retrospect, I'd bump off the 360 remix with Robin and Young Lean and put Loneliness on there because I actually connected with the album quite a bit, and one of the later singles, not to get off track, but you might like the Boy Harsher remix of New London Boy.
Mm-hmm. That's been their most recent single, isn't it? I think.
Yes. Along with a kind of unnecessary cover of All the Young Dudes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Was that for an extent? No, surely not an extended release already. Are we on to extended releases of the album now?
Yeah.
So number 8 for you.
Number 8 for me is going to be a song called Doctor Work It Out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Pharrell Williams featuring Miley Cyrus.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like it like super flew under the radar, and I feel like both of them usually get a lot of press. And it's a great song. It's a dance song. It's kind of like a little. It's like a little funky. Like it's got like a not necessarily full pop sound, but her vocals on it are great. I think it was an outtake from maybe her Bangers album, and then they like never worked on it, and then they decided to work on it again. It's great. I played it a lot. It gets me in a good mood. I play it a lot when I'm headed to work because it kind of gets my energy up. I highly recommend it. Yeah. I don't think Miley did a whole lot this year. She had a pretty big year last year. Which is why I was kind of surprised this kind of flew under the radar a bit, but it's excellent. It's very, very good. It's all her vocals. There's like, I'm guessing Pharrell Williams produced it and is doing the instrumentation, but it's pretty much all Miley.
Yeah. I feel like some of the later singles didn't do so well over here, maybe. I'm not like she had that massive number 1 from her last album, and maybe I don't know if the second single did. It did feel like she was massive in early 2023, and then it sort of fizzled out. But that happens a lot. I mean, Jade's first single got top 10, but the next one not even top 40. So, and I'm sure she's not the only person that's been like this year. My number 8 is Illusion by Dua Lipa.
Oh, okay.
I had to really the 3 singles. Houdini, so. I had to choose between Training Season and Illusion, and I think Illusion was my favorite, partly for the bit where it goes all sort of funky and jazzy towards the end, and I think I sung it a lot more around the house when I was hoovering. Wasn't that impressed with the album, in fact, but I don't think I gave it that much play. Seems like but the singles are so much better than the rest of the tracks.
True.
And her previous album was like just like album I played so much. So I enjoyed the singles, but disappointed by the album. But I think that was pretty much the general consensus anyway.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I did not put any Dua Lipa on my list, but the singles were great. I think I like Training Season a little bit more than Illusion, but those 2 were definitely my favorites. But I digress. Number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Got to Let Go by Shaznay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the last single from the album, but I like all of them, and I feel like if I could put all 3, I would, but some other things overshadowed, so I picked one. Any of them could have made it. I just happened to be in the mood for a bit of a slightly more up-tempo Shaznay.
Don't think I've heard that one. I don't think I've heard that one. There's another one that I thought was a single which had a rapper on it as well.
Good Morning.
So there might have been even 4 songs. I mean, some territories.
I think there might have been. I think Yeah, I think "Gotta Let Go" was the
Check that
most
one
recent one. It's very reminiscent of sort of change era Sugar Babes for me.
which I like. So,
Yeah, me too. I kind of all of the Shaznay album, the production made me go, why isn't she writing for Sugar Babes? It's so good, and it would suit them so well. But less said about the Sugar Babes, the better for me these days.
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the reboot.
because they haven't actually released like an album you can go and buy or anything. I mean, they've done things and gigs, and I'm sure there is things I could, but there doesn't feel like there's anything sort of big out there. Or
Yeah,
unless I've totally missed it, but
yeah, they did something called like the Lost Tapes, which I think was like a bunch of demos that they did when they regrouped with Siobhan. But I mean, for me, it's not very good.
no. So that was your 7, is that right?
Yes.
My 7, and this is again, she did a number of singles. This is, I think, my favorite. It's "Kissing in the Cold" by Florrie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she also did the Lost Ones, and there was at least another one other than that, and the album's out. And again, I haven't really listened to it. Florrie, I've kind of followed since a good friend of mine, Anthony. He he was a big Girls Aloud Loud fan, and he sort of told me about Florrie back when she was starting her. But she took a long time to kind of start doing albums. She did so many tracks, and I think, is this her second album or is it still her first album? But
I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
remember. But yeah, "Kissing in the Cold" reminds me of some of the Girls Aloud, because she was a drummer
Yeah.
with Girls Aloud, and other artists. But she's got a great voice of her own, and she writes songs, and "Kissing the Cold" has that sort of sadness. Sort of, it's upbeat, but it's
Yeah.
she's British, but it does remind me of some of those like Scandinavian, the way that they kind of can be quite sad, their
Yeah.
songs. It does remind me of some of the sort of some of the Girls Aloud singles, possibly as well. The more reflective ones.
Yeah. We I have a friend who refers to those as sad bangers.
Yeah, yeah.
Classic example, Dancing on My Own.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend who refers to Steps One for Sorrow as the quote unquote original sad banger.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of the sad banger. But yeah. Oh, we must move on before we get sad. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is "Good Luck Babe" by Chapel Roan.
Mm-hmm.
She had a huge year, but I'm in a weird place with Chapel Roan because I listened to her album before it got huge last year.
Yeah.
I liked it quite a bit. It's honestly, start to finish, it's pretty great, but I kind of overplayed it. And then you kept hearing Pink Pony Club on the radio here. Hot to Go, you kept hearing on the radio here. And not that I listened to the radio a lot, but it just kind of was everywhere. But "Good Luck Babe" isn't on the album. It was her new single for 2024.
Yeah.
Kind of a sad banger.
Yeah.
But it's got like a nice, almost like Fleetwood Mac 80s sort of production to it. It's just it's really, really good, and she's got a gorgeous voice. She's a little controversial because it's kind of like she got famous really fast, and I think she kind of hates it, and she's pretty vocal about it.
Yeah.
So it's I think her fan base doesn't know what to do with her maybe a little bit, but yeah, "Good Luck Babe." I wasn't sure it was going to make it on here, but it's excellent. It's a fantastic song.
I was going to put Chapel Run on. The song I like particularly, and at the moment the only one I really, really, really like enough to put on a list is "Red Wine Supernova," but that's 2023, so I can't put that one.
Yeah.
The video for that's good as well. So yeah, she didn't make it to my list, but only because if I'd have known about her when we talked about 2023, it would have been. But anyway, it's just trouble when you just have the things too late, or too late for things like this. But my number 6 is "Hate Being Alone" by Dagny, which is one of her sort of 3 or 4 singles, or 2 or 3 singles that came out. The singles off the album started coming out in 2023, but this end, these later singles were coming out in 2024. I think and the album didn't come out to 2024, so I think this counts as 2024. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did have to listen to them again to kind of. I think this is probably a bit of a sad banger as well. Everything's a sad banger. But where is she? Is she from Norway or is she from?
I think it's a Scandi pop.
Yeah, let's just
situation.
say Scandi pop. Let's just say Scandi pop. So not to get the wrong one. But the weird thing about some of is that the artwork of the single artwork looks like it's come from, but there aren't. Some of them don't have videos, or some of them have behind the scenes videos of a video you never see, and I don't know whether that was the deliberate thing or whether one day we will see that, because some of the images look really. I wanted to see the finished product, but maybe that was the whole thing. That was the whole point. But there were so many singles off the album that I think there was only about 4 songs that you hadn't heard when you got the album. But I mean, she doesn't get played as far as I'm aware at all in the UK, and she's one of my sort of, she's perfectly young enough to be in the charts and consider, but she just hasn't. The radio stations don't seem. I don't listen to radio, but I imagine she would have higher chart positions if she was allowed to. But if people hear the songs. But
yeah, Dagny, that album is great. So I'm right there with you.
What about your number 5?
My number 5 is Lights, Camera, Action by Miss Kylie Minogue.
Yep.
Excellent. I love Edge of Saturday Night. It was a little too clubby maybe for me to put on my top 24.
Because she had a few collaborations this year that came from, because she had an extended release of Tension 2.
Yes.
And Tension 2 came out this year, didn't it? Because it was so weird to have 2 albums within. I think I thought until just before it came out that it was just going to be like the first like Tension with some extra tracks, but it was the whole album, which I haven't really given as much time as I did Tension, but because she did a song with Sia, she did a song with
Peck,
and none of
Rexa and Tuvalu.
Yeah, none of them, unfortunately. I don't think anything's crept into the top 40, unfortunately, but I don't.
I think maybe Edge of Saturday Night did.
Maybe.
I know that got playlisted for, I think, Radio 1 or Radio 2, maybe. But no, Tension 2 is good. Honestly, the My Oh My with BB Rexa and Tuvalu is, for me, not a great song, but I did play it a lot. It ended up being kind of catchy.
I like the line about Scorpios because I'm a Scorpio.
There you go. I'm a Taurus, so they didn't reference me, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm like, but
I think just sweet, something in jealous kind or something. That was that Tove Lo, I think was the Scorpio.
Tove Lo was the sexy jealous kind.
Oh, sexy jealous kind.
Yeah. Was she the Scorpio?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
No, that kind of figures. We are the sexy, jealous type. I'll take both those.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. No, it's Kylie's having. I think she's still having a moment. So good for her.
Yeah.
She's a favorite of mine. Should we do number 4?
I have to do my 5. So yes, then we'll do 5.
Oh, you have to do your 5. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yes, we'll come back. We'll come back to Kylie. Number 5. My number 5 is a song called "Discotheque Inside My Head" by Telenova, who I think an Australian band. They did another single which I was like, should it be this or should it be that? But I think "Discotheque Inside My Head" was the first time I heard by them. Again, don't know if it just accidentally started after I was listening to another YouTube video, and I've heard another number of other songs by them that I like. They're kind of, I don't know. It seems disrespectful to compare them to another band, but they are sort of like maybe a little bit Dragonette-y, but a little bit more, but a little bit more wine bar Dragonette maybe. It's a little bit.
I could get into that.
Yeah. I definitely recommend them. I'm pleased to have discovered them, even though I can't remember how. But
I'm gonna have to
their
check
videos,
that out.
their videos are good as well. And wish I could remember the other single, but never mind. As I say, it was a close toss up between the two, but I thought I'd go with where I started with them. So
yeah.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is called Yes and I think I prefer the remix with Mariah Carey. I'm glad that they got together, that Mariah is still doing things.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge Ariana Grande fan. But this is it's cheesy. It's like kind of a Vogue ripoff a little bit. It's very got that kind of like a little bit like 90s housey a little bit, but not quite sort of it's like she's riding the coattails maybe of like Beyonce's Renaissance a little bit. Which was also Break My Soul was basically Vogue Part 2. But Yes and is very fun. They sound great together. It's another one that kind of like gets me up and moving a bit.
Yeah. I don't know it well, but I think I listened to it because you were talking about it earlier in the year. I don't know much about Ariana Grande, except I think I might have had a fight with her in Fortnite. I play Fortnite, and sometimes they have famous people. At the moment, we've got Mariah Carey. She's giving out presents in Fortnite.
Oh,
well, at least a couple of days ago. But they had the thing that made me laugh was that they kind of deactivated your weapons. They deactivated the weapons around her, so you couldn't go banging her on the head with anything. Should you want to? Not that I'm suggesting anyone.
Well, I'm sure people would want to.
Yeah, but I went down to have a look, and there she was, and suddenly I couldn't. Not that I was going to, but yes, I should have realised because a couple of days before, when you were in a certain area of the map, you kept hearing "All I Want for Christmas Is You," which I just thought was being played. But then I went away for a day or so and came back, and somebody said, Mariah Carey, I think she came out of an iceberg. There was this iceberg just standing there for a few days, and I never saw it totally melted her step out, but Fortnite is a strange world. Some people just think it's a game where you shoot each other, but that's just such a small part of it.
Oh my god!
I'm not here to advertise Fortnite. Honest. My number 4 is "I Want to Be Loved Just a Little" by Alison Goldfrapp.
So good.
Yeah. Goldfrapp, the actual band, has been one of the few bands that I've ever sort of just decided to talk about on the podcast just randomly. Back in the day, I had no reason. Didn't even have a guest. I don't usually talk about music when I'm by myself, but something must have triggered me. And this is a few years ago that I did kind of talk about, and I've rarely done that with anybody else. So, but I don't know if there's an album pending, or there's an album and I've just missed it, or this is just a standalone single. But it reminds me.
I don't know.
It reminds me a bit of Goldfrapp, surprisingly. It reminds me a bit of a lot of sort of the electro pop from the noughties that I like. But Goldfrapp's been around for a long time. They were part of that too, so I guess.
Yeah.
But
had I followed the rules that you set for yourself, that would have been on my list. If I had done only one song from each artist, that absolutely would have been on my list. I love that song.
Yeah. I think we're up to number 3. We're the big top 3. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 kind of, I feel like, was a throwaway track for her, but it was a bonus track on Brat. So it was Charlie XCX, and it's called Guess. But I like the remix featuring Billie Eilish. It's kind of a filthy lesbian remix. Sort of with the song is pretty dirty on its own. No explicit lyrics, which this is one of the songs that, like, were I to play my 2024 playlist in the store, there's an option to shut off explicit lyrics on Spotify, but this one comes through because technically there's nothing, there's no swears, there's nothing too terrible, but the main lyric is you want to guess the color of my underwear.
Yeah.
So it's a bit much. But I loved it.
Deals, what colour underwear are you? Sorry, Deals is here. I won't ask you about your underwear, Deals. It's okay. Grey and white. I'm sort of aware of some of the Charlie XCX this year, but I never heard the album. I know Von Dutch mostly, but my number 3 is "You Love Who You Love" by Zara Larsson, which is a song that I was sent by a good friend of mine who was like very eager to get my reaction, and was very pleased when I said I loved it and played it. It's not a sad bang. It's not really sad. It's just pretty upbeat, and has a good video. I don't know much about Zara Larsson. I think she's been around for a while. She's definitely Scandi.
Yeah.
So I think she might be maybe from a reality show, or she's certainly better known and has other songs. But this one just really clicked. Yeah,
nice.
I'm glad I was sent that. What about your number 2?
My number 2, an artist we already heard from on my list, another Gavin Turek track. This one's called IOU, just the letters I, O, and U. It's just an absolute like disco banger. Just it kind of, I don't know what it reminds me of other than disco, but it's probably a bit too long for radio, which is fine with me. I think a lot of songs are too short for TikTok these days. I'm looking at you, Kylie.
Yeah.
But again, that album just absolutely killed me this year. It's so good. It's called Diva of the People. But IOU just like immediately, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is it. This is so good. But yeah, it stands up alongside maybe not Donna Summer disco, because nobody really matches Donna, but like it's kind of up there with like Evelyn Champagne King, kind of a little bit of Denise Williams sassy sort of disco. Excellent. Very, very good.
It does sound good. I should be listening to it as I edit this episode, and so should you, listeners. Not while you're editing the episode, I'll do that for you. But my number 2 is, I think, so far it's not the only ones that we've both covered, because we have had one or two, like Sophie and stuff. My number 2 is Lights, Camera, Action by Kylie. But you're right, the single is too short. I mainly listened to the extended version, which is still only about the length of a normal song.
Right, yeah.
But there were some really good remixes for it. So, and I mean, the same last year with some of the tracks from Tension. Some of the official remixes were good, but some of the unofficial remixes were good, and the official remixes took longer to come out. So I think people were listening to the unofficial ones to start with, just because.
Yeah,
I definitely listened to the longer version, but the video is good. She looks great in the video, and I don't think it would have put Radio 1 out to have playlisted it, or for it. It definitely deserved. Well, I know we say that, but it's not like any of her music, or particularly not this track. It suits her just because she is the age she is. It doesn't mean that's irrelevant. It's just a really cool song. And,
good pop.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the remixes, because I really loved the Confidence Man remix. And they had a couple of good tracks that almost made it on mine, and they're Australian, and they're coming to Chicago, so I will be seeing them in March. Yeah.
You down to number 1. How could be honest? It's already gone. We went from 10 to 9 to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. It's getting late. A 3, a 2, a 1 and 0. Let's name the songs. Let's meet the heroes. You down to number 1. How could be honest? It's already gone. We went from 10 to 9 to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. It's getting late. A 3, a 2, a 1 and 0. Let's name the songs. Let's meet the heroes.
your number one?
My number one is Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. Again, never expected to be such a big fan. But lyrically, it's hilarious. The opening line is, I know I have good judgment. I know I have good taste. It's funny and it's ironic that only I feel that way.
That sounds like the sort of poem I wrote like when I was a performance poet. I don't want to take credit, but just no. That does that sort of sense of humour is very much my. I really ought to be checking. I sort of, yeah, as I say, I'm familiar with the name, but not familiar with the songs yet. So.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I couldn't choose between that and Taste. I feel like Taste was maybe bigger and more conventional. Please, Please, Please has a sort of like a very 80s production, but like elements of country in it a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
But it's lyrically it's so funny. She's pretty hilarious. I think her album was considered to be about what they call a situationship. So like not a full relationship, but it was kind of her working through something with a boy, and it's the title "Please, Please, Please" kind of don't prove I'm right about like how horrible you are as a boyfriend, sort of. But it's clever, and then that's my number one.
Great. Well, we'll discuss some other bits in a minute, but I'll give out my number one, and we've mentioned her. And it's the other big single the other single she released this year. It wasn't the big single, unfortunately, but it's my number one is Fantasy by Jade. And I just played it a heck of a lot, and it's difficult when you've got a year, the stuff that comes out at the beginning of the year, and this is one of the more recent songs that I've been listening to, but it's very disco-y track. It would have fitted in well when the disco revival was in 2 or 3 years ago. But it mixes styles. There's a little bit of rap in there, and it does different things. Also, it's got a wonderful video. But I think I like it a great deal aside from the video. The video is sort of set in a nightclub and she's singing on the stage, but then the second half it turns into a remake of Carrie with somebody with the whole bucket of blood thing, but then she loses it, and there's fire, and it's just a really well, and I think it's directed by somebody like kind of pretty famous, but I can't remember their name. But it's just interesting that she's sort of mixing with different styles and genres, and at one point it could have been Lights, Camera, Action, but I thought I listened to it a lot, partly watching the video, but also it just makes me sad that the Kylie song is bad enough that didn't do better, but I don't understand why Fantasy didn't do better, seeing as her first single that you mentioned did top 10. I kept thinking that maybe it would beat back up or somehow it slipped out. But it never did. But I mean, there's still time. I mean, charts are a ridiculous place at the moment. That there were Christmas songs all over the place. Christmas songs released like 70 years ago by Connie Stevens and stuff are in our top 10 at the moment. That would never have been allowed back in the day, because unless it had been released, this does make me feel that like streaming shouldn't be allowed. And I don't know if you know anything about it. If a shop isn't like yours where you get to choose, if a shop is streaming music all day long and no one's really listening to it, that's not really fair that somebody's clocking up when it's just like basically lift music but in a shop. It hasn't been chosen for cool reasons like your choices. It doesn't feel fair that if you just pressed a random Spotify list to have it going, that people are getting hits. Because but we could probably talk about that all day. Do you have a guilty pleasure for this year? I do. I'm not sure it's going to get me any friends, but
a guilty pleasure of anything that was specifically like released this year?
yeah, like something that came out this year, and I have one which I like, but got a resounding from everybody. Do you want me to tell you mine, and then
yeah,
it's
I'll have a think.
It's Woman's World by Katy Perry.
Oh,
I liked it, but this is really cheesy. She still thinks it's 2007.
yeah.
But I can understand people like us criticizing it and say, oh, she's about people. I think people said, this is about 4 years behind the current, what's popular. That's fine for us bigwigs, musical bigwigs. But I would have thought that the people who like Katy Perry, who were just like, just people on the street, would have been like, oh, Katy Perry's doing a new song. Oh, it's really catchy. I can't imagine them caring if it's 4 years behind. I don't know whether it just wasn't playlisted or whether. I know there was controversy about the people she worked with, but that, I'm sure that hasn't stopped Radio 1 playing songs before now.
Right.
I just don't know whether it just wasn't playlisted. I don't think it even got in the top 40, so it was a big flop. But the video was still as bingeful as a lot of her videos, but it, in all intents and purposes, it was Katy Perry just doing Katy Perry, really. And I didn't feel like she deserved to flop. Anyway, it's a guilty pleasure. I'm not proud of myself.
That's worse than I expected. I don't know. I guess I would be between two, and honestly, I'm not guilty about either of them, but they're a bit not great and kind of a little bit cheesy and not necessarily beloved. But the lesser of the two, I would say, is the Ollie Alexander Eurovision song, Dizzy.
I think I only heard about it once. I don't remember hating it, but
it's cute. It's not great. And it's definitely, I think nobody really liked it necessarily, but I did enjoy it. And my other that I couldn't choose between this or Dizzy would be the Danny Minogue single, Thinking About Us with Autone. It went nowhere, but it's really good. It's really catchy. And I think it's a bit behind the curve, again, maybe similar to Katy Perry, but it's not terrible. It's fun. She sounds good. Bit of a bop. But again, I feel like if you said, oh, the new Danny Minogue is one of my favorite songs of 2024, people might question your sanity.
Yeah, I have one other one I could probably mention, which is so not my usual type of song. Well, actually, I've got another one as well. Turn the Lights Back On by Billy Joel. It's again, I don't know. He sounds really in good voice. It's a little bit too sentimental for me, but I was kind of a bit like last year where I had that Shakin' Stevens song, which was actually like you couldn't really fault it. I did like that.
What was your other one?
Was it you who told me about Debbie Dawson?
Yes.
Yes, I was debating about her being on the
Me
list.
too. I like Happy World.
Yeah, there was also, I can't pronounce it. There's a song by Per Gessle and Lena Philipsson. I think he had a Swedish language. It's called like Saliskaps, which means something, and but it's a mouthful. Even when they're singing it in Swedish, it doesn't feel like it's the best word that you would want to use in a song. It's a struggle. Here we go. My other one was Somebody's Daughter by Pixie Lott.
Oh yeah, I did like that too, actually.
Yeah, it's a little bit sort of ballady, but I guess it's a power ballad. And I wasn't like the biggest Pixie Lott fan. I mean, I liked the singles she had success with to start with, but I was kind of glad to see her back again because I think she's had a break for quite a while.
Yeah.
Well, just to sort of round things up, I think you're the better expert on the albums where you've actually listened to them. I mean, I have listened to bits of things, but usually only, even the Tension 2 probably only once, and then favourite tracks more, and the Florrie one, the Danky one, just tried to. But I play music so sort of, on my laptop or on YouTube. Sometimes when I'm travelling, I put up my playlists, which I do, but haven't had the money to buy a lot of vinyl, but have bought Tension 2 and maybe one or two others, but that's mainly the money side, not having that. And also that I've got lots still left over from the pandemic, where I just haven't even got to play. I bought so much, I haven't played it all yet, but.
Oh my gosh, me too.
My living situations might be changing, and I'm maybe just Dealey and I in 2025. So I can put my record player back out in the front room and play to my heart's content. Whereas it's sort of where I had it set up, it's in my bedroom, but I don't spend much time in my bedroom except for sleeping. So, but anyway, albums. What are your favorites? What?
I quite like Tension 2. It probably goes without saying, Brat was up there for me. The Sabrina Carpenter album, Short and Sweet, it's called. That was great. The Gavin Turek, Diva of the People. This is all stuff I've already mentioned. Purple Disco Machine, that album is called Paradise. That's amazing. And honestly, I don't know if you've heard any of the new Gossip album.
No.
It's called It's called Real Power, and it's really good actually. I like that. They had a song, Give It Up for Love, that almost made it for me. And let's see. I think those are probably my favorites. I did really like the Fabiana Palladino album, but it kind of got overshadowed by a lot of stuff. I would have loved to have liked the Dua Lipa album. I bought it. I have that on vinyl. I haven't opened it yet because I don't really like anything but the singles. And I would also say Remy Wolf, who, if you're not familiar with, bit avant-garde pop, I would say, a little bit weird, a little bit left field. But her album's called Big Ideas. And there's a lot of really good stuff on it. She has a song called Soup that's really good, that I like quite a bit. I like Toro. Cherries and Cream was really good. But that's an album that I would say to check out. If you're feeling like kind of an adventurous listen, check out Remy Wolf.
Yeah. And did you say Shazney Lewis has a full album?
Oh my God, yes. How did I forget? Pages was the name of her album. That's also excellent. All of the singles are good. The album tracks are great. Not a lot to skip on that. I don't think I needed. She redid Never Ever as a solo, which I think was a bonus track. She co-wrote, but I didn't necessarily need that. But the rest of the album is great.
I must check out the Gossip because I do like Gossip. But I think we almost run out of time. We'll be back as usual after the theme music. But Adam, thank you very much. I'm glad we managed to do this within the dying days of 2024. But I'll try and put it out within the first month of 2025. I'm not sure I'm going to get it out before. There's been lots of dramatic things going on in the Shy Life podcast that there was an explosion and everything. I had to go and speak to Toppy Smelly and ask if he had any good explosion sound effects. Listeners, you didn't hear that. But anyway, we'll definitely be back to talk about music again next year. And I think I have a few other ideas if I can get my act together. Anyway, thanks for coming back. And he's not gone yet. We've got 2 more bits to do. Anyway, but thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me.
there anything in 2025 that you know is definitely coming out that you're looking forward to?
Yes, I've already pre-ordered it on vinyl because I know I'm gonna love it. The new Sophie Ellis Bextor album.
Oh yes, I kind of forgot that was that was going on. Was the single that we were talking about? Is that the first? Is that the first single?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Freedom of the Night.
Yeah, is she still working with the same the sort of the same team that she's been working with?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
She which they do hop genres pretty well together because I think she's worked with them for a while.
Yeah.
And the last few albums are all pretty different.
Yeah. Anything else? I can't think of anything that I know. The only things I've got pre-ordered are sort of cult TV related. But I don't really know what. I don't know if I keep seeing pictures of Madonna in the studio. Are we expecting a new album next year?
I'm hoping because she's working with Stuart Price again, who did Confessions on a Dance Floor, worked with Kylie for Aphrodite.
Yes.
Just fantastic. I think. I'm blanking on something big that he worked with somebody relatively big recently. He
had his own band as well, for which I've forgotten the name
of.
Yeah, which I liked, but I blanked on that, so that's good. Just look at Stuart Price. Stuart Price. He works with a lot of people, but I know specifics at the moment. But yeah, it'd be good if Madonna could sort of do something that was internationally sort of liked and successful. It's been a while since she had something that was massive. She hasn't had a Padam. People were getting excited because she had a single out this year, but it was such a collaboration with lots of other people that I didn't really feel like it counted as a Madonna song. It wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't a Padam, in that it was a standalone Madonna track all in her name. But I'm trying to think of other people that might be due albums, but hopefully they'll. We've had a good crop of pop sort of.
We have. I maybe because there was the standalone Chappell Roan single, the Good Luck Babe. I don't think there's an album that goes with, but I might just be missing the boat on that one, so to speak. But I would think she might want to maybe keep her momentum going. We'll say.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if this is new music, but they're touring. The Scissor Sisters are doing.
Yes.
Did you get tickets for them, or did I know
they're
some people not coming close enough?
No, they're not touring the US, unfortunately.
Oh, maybe I got in my head that they were, but
no. But I do have Kylie tickets.
Oh yes, that might be what I'm confusing, because yes, I know a few people who are going out, and I think I got confused. But I don't know if there's any new music with the sisters. I think it's probably just touring the first album, or sort of.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
It was a little bit of a sort of, people got excited, and then it was like, and there's no animatronic, and not because they've fallen out, but because she's busy doing other things. Well, I'm sure there will be things when we talk about music next year. There'll be lots of things we didn't even see coming, which is how it should be. And you don't want it to be just the people know, another album. So hopefully there'll be some. I would like to see. I'd like to see if Wet Leg can do another album.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, next year you'd think that there would be, something new from them. But anyway,
I hope so too.
I gotta go now. Bye.
I want to go with you.
Gotta go. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Wow. Really? No kidding.
Thank you, darling. And you too. Bye-bye.
Oh, that sounded good.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network. Find more shows over at pride48.com.
Oh dear, what's going on now? Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast. Let's go.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice. We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
That is so cringe, oh my god.
You're a man of culture as well.
Adam, before you go, how are Foul Monkeys? How's it? What would you want to say?
Monkeys
are being foul. Are being foul.
Where you can expect a new episode sometime soon. I would say we've all been quite busy, so we're behind, but we're still going. And we're planning on we have a film to co-present next year as well. This will be the third year that we've been co-presenting a film at Fetish Film Forum in Chicago. This year we're going to do The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. Peter Greenaway, starring Helen Mirren. But yeah, no, Foul Monkeys are good.
I have a little story to share about. I got a little bit behind. I think this is in the summer. I got a little behind. Probably got 3 or 4 episodes to catch up with, and I had to go for it. I was going to see a gentleman friend in the evening, and I had a doctor's appointment, and I earlier in to just sort of check on medications and stuff, and I don't really want to go home and then go out again. So I think I'm just going to sit in a coffee shop in the town where the doctor is, and then I'll just get on the train, And I spent 2 or 3 hours with you guys. Well, listening, quietly listening. You wouldn't have noticed me. Catching up. I had a nice cappuccino. It was. I like that. Where you kind of literally you can feel like you're a silent listener in a dinner party almost. I did the same years ago when I was in Venice by myself. I just got a load of podcasts, and they were the kind of conversational, like 3 or 4 group members just chatting, and I didn't feel so lonely sitting there eating my meal by myself in Venice. But unfortunately, I wasn't in Venice this time. But yeah, I did have a nice afternoon with you guys, and you kept me entertained, and I had to make sure I didn't laugh too much. Like random man on table 3 with cappuccino, laughing. Well, I look forward to hearing those episodes that are due out. And
awesome.
Yes, listeners, Foul Monkeys. You already know this, but okay, Adam. Well, I think it's time to go. We'll see you again soon. Thanks again.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Well, gotta tell you, I didn't expect that.
What the hell just happened on this show? I mean, seriously, reverse it, because I lost. What's going on? What happened?
Man, was that worth it or not? Oh my goodness, that was a darling little shoe. Whoa, I love that one. Great show, Paul. Yep. That was a good shoe.
750.
That was beautifully done.
you can always call me.
Everyone's a critic.
Oi, oi, that's your lot. Bye.
Voila.
We're counting you down to number one. How quickly our list, it's already gone. We went from 10 to 9 to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, it's getting late. A 3, a 2, a 1, and 0. Let's sing the songs, let's meet the heroes. We're counting you down to number one. How quickly our list, it's already gone. We went from 10 to 9 to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, it's getting late. A 3, a 2, a 1, and 0. Let's sing the songs, let's meet the heroes.
Okay, stopping recording.